Hello, welcome to Wisconsin Sports Collector. We're going to talk about 1958 and 1959 Braves stuff. Mostly it's going to be tops because the food products and local products just really aren't there at this time. So in 1958 they had grayback cards. In 1959 they brought back graybacks and whitebacks. I don't know why. They had 36 Braves in 1958, and I think 58 is my favorite looking cards of all time. And they also feature mostly the 1957 team, which won the World Series. So let's talk about tops. Well, there are two different team cards in 58. They had different backs on them. They also had yellow versions and white versions of the lettering on Hank Aaron and Ernie Johnson's cards. They also had the first All-Star cards and cards with multiple players. So there's a fair amount of new sort of innovation here going on. And Hires Root Beer made a very small set that included Hank Aaron. These are really hard to find. Boy, I wish I had more to talk about in 1958. The 1959 tops had 37 Braves. That's also a lot. There were 3 versions of Warren Spahn. 2 of them had the wrong birthday on it. And there's 2 versions of Harry Hannebrink, the very little used Harry Hannebrink. A traded line is on the back of one version. The version without the traded line is actually the better one to get. They lost the World Series in 1958 to the Yankees. And Casey Stengel was the very well-respected manager. And at one time he managed the Boston Braves. And he said at the time, Warren Spahn would never be any good. And later on, when he was with the Yankees, he said Lou Burdett would never be any good and had him traded to the Braves. Thank you, Casey Stengel. Spahn and Burdett, among many others, had their careers somewhat messed up by the war. Spahn won the most games in a career as a lefty, and he would have had more if he didn't spend time getting shot at. Warren Spahn grew up in Buffalo and never saw a game on TV or heard one on the radio because of where he lived and when he lived. The first Major League game that he ever saw, he was in it. We grew up in an era where we could copy the batting stances or the wind-ups of our favorite players. Well, he didn't do that. Warren Spahn also hit 35 home runs in his career, so we could hit. Lou Burdett cards in 58 and 59, if you didn't notice, are all misspelled. And while in 1959 Armour coins came back in their hot dogs, they included a Hank Aaron and Del Crandall. Bazooka gum came in boxes with cards you cut out yourself. They included a yellow name and a white name version of Hank Aaron plus a Del Crandall. Hard to find and real expensive, and often cut poorly because kids are cutting these out. Home Run Derby was a TV show. They had cards for the sluggers that were in them, and Mathews and Aaron were in the show and on cards. Oklahoma Today was a newspaper. They made cards you could cut out of the newspaper, and Warren Spahn was the lone Brave in that. In the 59 team, according to Spahny, was the best team that he ever had, or he had ever played on. And the team did finish in first place, but tied with the Dodgers and lost a 1-game playoff. So that's 2 games away from 4 straight World Series appearances. In 59, Eddie Mathews had 46 home runs, his second best, and he led the league. 39 from Hank Aaron. Red Shandy's was limited to 5 games because he caught tuberculosis and almost died. I always wondered what happened to him, why they got rid of him. Well, they didn't get rid of him. He had problems. Well, there you have it, 1958, 1959 Braves. 60 and 61 I'll do next. Things are going to be a little bit more creative, and there's a few more things out there coming up. Unfortunately, in Braves land, excitement is starting to dip a little bit, starting to fade. It's kind of the beginning of the end, which is unfortunate. Well, we'll talk about that next time.